Okay, boys and girls, we're going to talk about something called close reading. And when you hear the word close, what does that remind you of? Close. Yes.
Like by you.
Like what?
It's by you.
It's by you, okay? Anybody else have an idea about what close means? Yes?
To be right next to something.
To be right next to something. Well, what close reading means, and if we look on our sheet, we can see that close reading is careful, purposeful reading, and focused discussion. So it's like we're really paying attention to what we're reading. So we're being very careful in the way we're reading something. So let's look at the steps to close reading. Everybody to put your eyes on it. So there's 4 steps. Step 1, our first reading. First reading, determine what the text says. First you read the text to yourself. Focus on what the text says, the main idea and the key details. Mark anything you notice using the close reading symbols. And I have those symbols. I've given them to you and we're going to talk about them. Discuss the text. Think, pair, and share so you can talk to people around you. Answer the questions for the reading. Discuss your answers. Think, pair, and share. So there will be some discussion questions or things for you to talk about with other people. Step 2, in your second reading, determine how the text says it. Reread the text a second time, more closely. Focus on unknown words and phrases, the text structure, and the author's point of view. Mark anything you notice using the close reading symbols. Answer the vocabulary questions for the second reading. Discuss your answers. Think, pair, and share. Step 3, third reading, determine what the text means. Reread the text a third time. Dig deeper. Focus on the meaning of the text. Think about how the text connects to your own thoughts and experiences. Mark anything you notice using the close reading symbols. Answer the questions for the third reading. Discuss your answers. Think, pair, and share. Step 4, written comprehension, read and respond. Complete the reading prompt. Base your response on previous knowledge and or research you've completed. Use specific details from the passage in your response. Discuss your writing. Think, pair, and share. So those are some of the steps we're going to be taking today with a passage that I have for you. But before we do that, let's look at our symbols, the close reading symbols. Everybody, put this in your hand. Put this in front of you, and let's look at those close reading symbols. It says mark it up, read and annotate. Annotate means to make like little notes on something. So when you're reading some of our passages, the passages, you can write on them, just like you could write in your reading book. That's something that you can write on. So let's look at our first symbol. Do you see the star, everybody? It says draw a star near important facts and details. So when you're reading, you can draw a star next to the important facts and details. Circle. Circle important words and phrases. Question mark. Put a question mark near details you find confusing or have questions about. So if there's something you have a question about, in something you're reading, you would draw a question mark next to it. Yes? No. Exclamation. Put an exclamation mark near details you find surprising or interesting. So if you're reading something and you find something surprising or interesting, you put an exclamation mark next to it. Underline. Underline unfamiliar words or phrases. So if you come upon something you don't know what it means, it's an unfamiliar word, an unfamiliar phrase, you underline it. And then the arrow. Do you see the arrow, boys and girls? You draw an arrow near parts of the text you could make a personal connection to. Because remember, when we're reading, we try to make personal connections to things. We use our schema to think about, does this remind me of something? Have I read this before? Do I have a personal experience like this? So then we draw our arrow because we think we've made a personal connection to it. So that's what we're going to be doing today, because I have got a story for you, a close reading passage. And I think you're going to enjoy our close reading passage today because it's about something that I think you enjoy. I think you enjoy this. It is a passage about candy canes. Do you enjoy candy canes? Yes? Okay. So I have got a passage about candy canes, and it is going to be one that we're going to do our close reading on. So first I'm going to hand it out, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what you're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start with our close reading steps, boys and girls. So here's what I want you to do, boys and girls. I want you to read the passage silently. Now, before you start reading, I want you to focus on what the text says, the main idea and key details, and how the information in the text is related. And I want you to use the annotation marks to identify unknown words, key details, and questions you may have, connections you can make, and any other things like that. So you can use your new annotation marks. So where should your annotation mark paper be while you're reading? Should it be right next to your paper so you can refer to it? Yes,
You didn't give me one.
your hand's on it. Paper? Did you not get a paper? Is that what you mean? Oh. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. So as you're reading, you're going to be using your annotation marks. Okay? So there you go. Okay, boys and girls, get started.